Hey, a little awkward from here, but hey Jet Set Radio fans! I know it's a bit dark, you haven't really got a game for only about 2 decades, but don't worry, I can brighten it up for you because I have something for all of you, and it surely don't disappoint.
Can't get enough of you. Just can't get enough. About your body, baby. Just can't get enough. Oh, I just can't get enough. Just can't get enough. About your body, baby. About you, baby. And rising to the top. Get enough. I just can't get enough.
But it wouldn't be a BRC video without the history of Jet Set Radio. Now I know I may not be great or the best at video game historian, but context is important and is the key to tell you on what it is. So buckle up to everyone that never heard the term Jet Set Radio before, because I am here to help you on what that is. Starting right now with the beginning. So, before we have to talk about Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, we have to rewind 23 years later when Sega released, as what Professor K would say, Jet Set Radio! This game blew out of the door with its very visually and innovating cell shading technique that pretty much really heavily focused around some good old comic book anime feel into that. And well, Jet Set Radio have delivered exactly that. From the city around of Tokyo or Tokyo-to to the characters, heck, even the vibes and presentation, it's just so stylish. Much like the gameplay, which it has some good old-fashioned jank, just like all the 2000 games has, but also it's still pretty fun till this day. And the music? There's some top tier music in this game right here. Not also that it was composed by Hideki Nakanuma from tracks like Sneak Man and multiple of others. But this soundtrack will have you listen to your ears for years and years on end if you are a longtime fan of Jet Set Radio. However, much like the Dreamcast, the console with all of the other games, Jet Set Radio included, didn't live up to expectations because it's been overshadowed by Sony's second game console, that being the PlayStation 2. So only around in 2001, I believe, the Dreamcast was discontinued and Sega is out of creating new consoles. But the Jet Set Radio legacy is not done just yet, because in the year 2002, when the Xbox just released and only around a year later, Xbox collaborated with Sega and Smilebit to create a sequel or a reimagining, I think, of Jet Set Radio, that being Jet Set Radio Future. With Jet Set Radio Future, Smilebit took everything they learned from the first one and made it even better than ever before. From the city that has been upgraded, to the characters that got their brand new look, the story that is now more versatile while still remain true from the original, and the gameplay has been improved and defined. Jet Set Radio Future is pretty much one of those games where if you know about it and got the original Xbox for only around back in the day, then the Dreamcast, you must be having some good fond memories into that, just like when everyone had fond memories on the first Jet Set Radio game when it was released in the 2000 from the Dreamcast. However, right after Jet Set Radio Future, the series remained silent for over 2 decades. I wonder why. At the time, in only around of 2007, Nintendo and Sega were working on a Jet Set Radio game for the Wii. but Sega just canceled the project and never got into Jet Set Radio ever since. However, in only around of 2017, there's a concept for a third potential Jet Set Radio game called Jet Set Radio Evolution. It was really good, and people pretty much really wonder if this is gonna be a potential third game, but Sega wasn't really interested at being able to make a third Jet Set Radio game at the time. So it's been 2 decades later, and the community of Jet Set Radio haven't got word from Sega about a potential third game. So, was that all said and done? No, this is where we lead into 2020, where something big happened. Team Reptile teased on Twitter, aka X, of a new game that they're creating, including a picture that says in 3 letters. And then, at the very moment, on July 22nd, 2020, probably one of the biggest days for Jet Set Radio fans, they announced this. They announced a spiritual successor to the Jet Set Radio series called Bomb Rush Cyberfunk with a 15-second teaser. The moment the trailer have uploaded, people were talking all over social media and people were hyped. Even Hideki said that if Sega not going to make a new Jet Set Radio, someone else will. Because Team Reptile knows how to create a style that screams Jet Set Radio before, like Megabyte Punch and Lethal League Blaze. It's been in the works for 4 years since it got announced, and with Reptile showcasing the trailers of the game, they're always a step forward in the right direction. And then, on August 18th, 2023, the game finally released, and the reception is overwhelmingly positive.
That's awesome.
Everyone said that it's a true Jet Set Radio experience that people have been waiting for. So with me finally getting the game thanks to a gift, it wasn't last week, that being August 20th, that I launched Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, and I've been playing this game for 7 days. All I can pretty much really say for my first impressions, it's incredible. And I'm gonna tell you why with 3 short but sweet bullet points, starting with the first one.
Live, also known as the graphics.
Yeah, I got the light. He got the light. We got the light. What you know about it? So much light.
I gotta say, it's every detail you know about the Jet Set Radio series. It's stylized, bold, aesthetic, and artistic. From the city of New Amsterdam to the characters and a few elements that's added, it's those reasons why this cel-shaded technique pushed the boundaries of visual fidelity. Heck, the presentation of the graphics is a vibe.
Yes, sir!
When I walked to the cities of New Amsterdam for the first time, I feel like this gave an old school Dreamcast vibes like the original from the 2000s. And that's all I can ever ask for it.
Man, this feels good.
The execution.
Now, let's talk about the gameplay. It's pretty much like as you expected, in the best ways.
What do you mean by that?
The momentum you kept going with your tricks, slides, and jumps will rack up the amount of combos thanks to your movements. The longer the combos, the higher the score gets.
Oh my god, he on X Games mode.
With grinds and wall rides that will also keep it going until your combo breaks and try again. On top of that, unlike Jet Set Radio where it has 1 move style, it has 4 move styles to go all city. Wanna go like the past times? Well, the inline skates are here. Wanna go Tony Hawk and just skate around the city? Well, gee, look at that, the skateboards are in. Wanna ride on a bike? Sure, why not? Go with the BMX. And do you wanna run, jump, and wall ride with your pair of shoes? Well, there's parkour elements into that. Oh, and it's an awkward way for me to share with my shoe, but that's what the focal point that has parkour elements into that. And sorry for dropping my shoe. And yes, it has combat in the game, which even though it's not the focus, it's interestingly fun, especially for the boss battles. And the graffiti system minigame stays true to the original, with now has infinite amount of pins to line the dots together to get your piece on the wall. Just to keep a little reminder that there is a lot to collect, hundreds of graffiti arts around each map. So once you do it, you can add it on the wall at any time. There's another that you need to collect, and that is boosters from your jetpack. So to keep the speed going. That is why there is a bar where it refills when you collect boosters. And it also refills when you do tricks. Yeah, I gotta add that in because I forgot to say it before. Everything I mentioned is why the gameplay stays homage to the original, while adding new ways to go through, for example, like the combat. Pretty much, I can say the gameplay is really fun.
Sound.
When it comes to the soundtrack from two Jet Set Radio games, you know the music has to be jamming and funky. And this is the same direction that has entered again when it comes to the soundtrack of Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. This soundtrack is listed with over 32 tracks from artists like Sky Blue,
More light than a strike in your power bill. Our match in a strike, we devour ill. They don't know how to feel. Their minds prepare to game bangers. Never saw losers when we game changers.
Too Mellow, and international artists like Cybermilk-chan. But they also got tracks from the legend who worked on the first Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio Future, Hideki Naganuma. And oh boy, just like what Hideki does with his soundtrack on Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio Future, the tracks that he made for Bomb Rush Cyberfunk are really top tier. Just like the soundtrack, of course, they're all bangers as well. It truly has a soundtrack that's filled with banger after banger, and it's those reasons why I love video game soundtracks, no matter what genre it is. Overall, I can say, the OST freaking slaps. Over the past 2 decades, the Jet Set Radio series has been innovating in so many ways, from the graphics, gameplay, and music. But like I said it from before, it went dark after Jet Set Radio Future. It's been 21 years since the last Jet Set Radio game, and fans have been waiting for something new for quite a while right now. And I'm glad to say that Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is definitely worth a shot. I know the price can be very premier for an indie game, but Team Reptile have hit the home run out of the park for this one. It improves everything about the two Jet Set Radio games and redefined it. Not also that, but it lived the legacy of the Jet Set Radio that people played many years ago. So, if you are a fan of the Jet Set Radio series, this is worth it after years of waiting. For my final words, I gotta say this. It began with Jet Set Radio, then it continued with Jet Set Radio Future, now it came back with Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. And at the end of the day, the funk will remain forever to understand the concept of love.